Recently, I decided to replay one of my favorite games of all time, an often overlooked game called Bowser's Fury. There are so many cool and unique enemy and contraption designs from Bowser's Fury which would be great in Game Builder Garage, but I wanted to make one that's super fun and also not too difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Flip Switch. This is a fairly simple yet really interesting contraption which you can make for yourselves pretty quickly to make some seriously awesome levels. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you the code to the game I made with these. Let's get flippin'. To start off, we're just going to use a simple person object, and we're going to grab a touch sensor which we're going to use to detect the world underneath the person. Head into the touch sensor settings. You don't want to make this too big, so we're going to keep it 0.4 by 0.8 by 0.4, and we're going to check for the world or a box, anything that your character is going to step on. This is going to tell when your character's in the air, so you're going to want to put the output timing while touched, and the connection point Y+ to Y-. This will put it underneath your character. It's also a good idea to orient things how they are in your actual game so you don't get confused, so I placed it underneath the person, and we're going to call up a program layout wormhole entrance. Now we're going to be using G because G is for ground. This sensor is going to detect when you're touching the ground and when you're not. So hook that up to your touch sensor. Next, you're going to want to find some space so we can create our actual flip switcher. So let's go into simple objects and grab a cylinder. Put it wherever you want. It's probably good next to a wall so that sticks into it. Then head into the settings. If you're using a normal sized person, you can just use these dimensions, 0.2 by 2 for the Y and 0.2 for Z. So this is going to be a long, narrow cylinder. We're also going to want to keep it visible and choose whichever color you want. I think white is good, but also auto should be about the same. Next, we're going to make the contraption that sticks onto this, so it doesn't really matter where the other things are, as long as your cylinder is in the right place. This is going to be your anchor point for your contraption. Next, we're going to go into simple objects and call up the box, which we'll be using for the platform. Don't connect it directly to the cylinder, but instead head into the settings. Make it about this size. So we got 2 for the X and Z, and the Y is 0.1, so it'll be pretty slim, but also a nice platform size. Have these settings visible, solid, and movable, and the connection point will have X+ to center. To connect these together, we're going to be using a hinge connector, so go into connections and let's choose a Y hinge connector. The cylinder is going to be connected to the bottom of the Y hinge, the top of the cylinder goes to the bottom, and then the top of the hinge goes to the bottom of the box. This basically means that the cylinder is going to be the anchor and the box is going to be the thing that's moving. If we want to test this one out, we're going to grab a button and let's do the ZL button. And this is good for troubleshooting. So we're going to need to convert this with a map node on. Basically, we have a 1 input, and for every 1 input, it's going to move just 1 degree. So if we go into the input, we'll see 0 to 1. We want to make this 0 to 180. This will be a half circle rotation. And if we head back into the game here and we hold ZL, just like that, now we can see that we can rotate this freely from one side to the other. Now we just need the input that's going to do it for us. Before then, we actually are missing one thing. Let's head into the special objects and grab a texture. Head into the texture settings. You'll want to set one of them as Y+ and one of them as Y-. Just make sure you do the same colors for all of your platforms. Otherwise, you're going to have different colors when the player is jumping. So let's keep it consistent. And we'll copy this one up here and change this one to Y-. We'll make this one red. Then we'll connect both of these up to this one here, the box. And you don't need any kind of triggers actually, because it's always going to be the same no matter what. Let's take a look. So now you can see blue is there and then red, and it switches as it moves back and forth. Perfect. Once you're done testing, you can actually hold the ZL button and then grab both of these and delete just like that. We're going to go ahead and put a wormhole exit here, which I'm going to label as J. J will be for jump. This one will activate the hinge connector whenever we have a jump input, which will change the flip switch. Grab some nice open space, and we're going to be making the flip switcher now. So all you have to do is, let's take a wormhole exit. If you remember earlier, we had G for the detection of the ground. We don't want this to switch unless the ground is being detected, so we're going to put G in with the button press, meaning whenever the ground is being detected and we hit the button to jump, that's when we're going to activate this. we're going to need to use an AND node-on for this, and connect these two together. Also make sure that the B button is set to on press, not while pressed, otherwise people can make it go back and forth and it kind of gets broken. Next we're going to need a timer node-on. This will make sure that it doesn't activate right away, it makes it more natural. If it activates too fast, it's kind of weird. In your timer, we're going to put this for 0.3 seconds. That means 0.3 seconds after the jump button is pressed, it'll activate the flip switcher. Next, we're going to make a flag switch, and if you haven't done this before, basically it's just an on-off switch you can make by using a flag. Go ahead and plug the timer into the on port, and then grab an AND node-on, put it right below it. Then we're going to take the output of the flag and put it into one of the inputs of the AND, and we'll take the timer and put it into the other input of the and we'll take the output of the and put it into the off of the flag. This basically means that when this is activated while it's on, it'll shut off. When it's activated while it's off, it'll turn on. Next, we're going to need a map node-on to convert this to the right degrees. The flag is only going to output 1 degree, so we're going to have to do what we did earlier. Let's go ahead and put the input here, 0 to 180. And this will be perfect for us to put right into our wormhole entrance of J. Remember we had that for jump earlier. You don't have to use wormholes, but it keeps your code very clean. And later on when you have a bunch of these, if you make more than one, you can use the wormhole output to make things a lot easier. Let's take a look. Here you can see the one we just created is now similar to its brothers and sisters over there, and that means it worked out perfectly, but sometimes you might have to adjust the position because it'll run into the ground. Just keep an eye on that. Also, they might run into each other if you put them too close, so you might have some trial and error for that. If you want to copy these and make more like I did, I can show you the quick way. In order to copy these, I recommend just making a little package here, like a Christmas present, so you have your 4 different node-ons all contained in the box, and you can just select it all, and click the copy like that. Then you can move everything around. Now you can keep these more off to the side if you want. So I can just leave the cylinder. Wherever you put the cylinder is where you're going to have the entire contraption. So you can keep your code clean by moving it off to the side, just like that. And you can create tons of them just like I have here, while keeping everything nice and clean. Since you guys stuck around to the end and were so kind, I want you guys to be the first ones to be able to play my new game I made with this mechanic called Flip Switch Fury. It's based off of the Bowser's Fury Island. And here is the code for Flip Switch Fury Midnight. This is kind of the cool neon version in the dark of night. It's so fun to play both of them, so give them both a shot and let me know which one you like more in the comments section. Until next time, happy flipping, and God bless.